How about now?
Welcome to the Bird Gang Nation Sports Media Show, repping the greatest team of all time. Let's go! Bird Gang 31, he be the host with the most. We going deep, burning teams. They ain't nothing but toast. It's in your Estes. Sirianni put me in coach, running like Miles Sanders Hill. I bumped my head on the post. Touchdown! Yeah, that's coming. Devontae's crazy route running. Jalen hurting them, throwing lasers to Rager, young gunning. Come on! On the D side, we ride, sack him with Fletcher, lay him out on the stretcher. No one can protect you. Watch Darius lay him, shutting down your routes. Come on! In my green John, eating Philly cheesesteaks. Put up your cups, wings up, if you can relate. Tailgating at the link like Gangsta Stride. To the Bird Gang Nation, that's worldwide. On Sundays, catch the pre and post game. Mondays is Birds on Broad Street with Philly Notion and Cool Cat, the man in motion. And Wednesdays, the midweek special got you open with JC from Eagles Talk, hitting like B-Dog, baby.
Welcome to another episode of Bird Gang Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, Bird Gang 31. Today, Nation, we got some very special guests in the building from Chiefs Focus. We got Caleb and JP. How you guys doing today, my guy?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you guys for joining me on the show today, man. You know, we got both of our teams are looking kind of suspect early in the year. How do you guys feel about how the Chiefs are doing so far this year?
Man, thanks for having us on again, Bird Gang. We really appreciate it. Thank you. JP is my co-host, good guy. We've been running this thing for a while. I think when it comes down to it, I think the Chiefs and the Eagles, it's going to be another great game. Both of these teams are 1-2, and they're both struggling. So this game is going to see who's going to be able to push past and push for the future, or who's going to continue to struggle.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one, man. I mean, it's gonna be see who's got the will to bring it on. I mean, that's just really what it is. You know, it's been a rough ride for both teams right now, and I think everybody's got they got to bring it and prove it. It's just really what it all boils down to right now.
Yeah, man. You know, both our teams are struggling early. But you guys definitely have one of the best, if not the best, quarterback in the league. The best receiver in the league, and the best tight end in the league. So you guys, got a good offensive line. So I think it's going to be a real test for the Eagles this week going into this game against you guys.
Yeah, it's been with what we have as far as our offensive line, and all the changes we made, Mahomes has been very well protected, which is an anomaly compared to what he's had. And of course, again, with Mahomes being the best quarterback in the league, that's just hands down. Nobody can really argue that at this point. Again, Tyreek Hill, you let him free and you can hang it up. Kelsey, of course, is Kelsey. There's not anybody that can rival him. It's just going to be a matter of really the defense coming out and doing their job and letting Mahomes play his game, which they haven't allowed him to do. I think, in my opinion, and what I've heard, they've not allowed him to play his game. If they let him do his thing and release him, it's going to be a rough day for everybody involved. So, what do you think, Caleb?
I think it's the same thing too, man. When you kind of look at the end of the day, you got Mahomes, like BIRDGANG said, best quarterback, best wide receiver, and best tight end in the league. And that's important for the Chiefs because that just shows you they're playing against a perennial defense. The Eagles are no joke. They know what they're doing. They know how to play. So they got to continue to keep pushing. It's going to be a long game.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. Who are some of your star players, that's actually been, making the most noise this year? Even though being 1-2, who are some of the players to watch for coming into this matchup against the Eagles? We already know the offensive players. We'll probably start on the defensive side.
For one defensive player I'm mainly looking at would be Nick Bolton, our linebacker rookie out of Missouri. He's another great guy. He can just continue to ball out week in and week out. Whenever the Chiefs played the Browns, they had to play. He was one of our best linebackers we had in order to stop the run. And having guys like that is perfect because the Eagles like to run the ball. And Miles Sanders, you got to do what you got to do to stop him.
Yeah, I agree. Nick Bolton has just been, he plays like, almost a veteran to a degree. And honestly, I really watch. Tyrann Mathieu is Tyrann Mathieu. He's, in my opinion, the smartest safety in the league. And you got to really be careful with that guy. But who I'm really looking to see how well he's going to adapt. He did fairly well last week. Is Mike Gannon. I think because he is going to be playing on the edge this week, and I think he's going to be somebody that I really want to see stand out and push the limits at this point. Our corners are our corners, and we know what we got there. They're great. I mean, we got Snead. He's an amazing corner. Mike Hughes, he plays well. Everybody we got, DeAndre Baker, in my opinion, is one of the better corners in the league. He just hasn't had a chance to prove himself yet. And when he has been out there, he's done a very good job. But I think Dan is going to be the one that I really want to keep an eye on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, man. On our defensive side of the ball right now, we have a couple of guys that have been making some noise, and that is Javon Hargrave's been playing a really good first 3 games. He's one of the best DTs in the league right now, and he's putting a lot of pressure on these quarterbacks up the middle. Fletcher Cox, you guys know him. Everybody knows Fletcher Cox is an all-star. But both of those guys together are really putting a lot of that pressure in the middle of the team's offenses. We also got Hassan Ridgeway, who comes behind. He's behind Ridgeway, he's behind Hargrave in that depth chart. But he's playing a really good out there at the defensive tackle spot. And also, both of our corners haven't been playing that bad so far since the season started. So, we got some guys on defense that have been making some noise. Like I said, up to the Dallas game, we're holding teams to 11 points a game. And I think as long as we can continue that, we should be in pretty good shape.
Yeah. You guys have a defense that I think is going to make some noise, especially moving forward moving on down the season. You definitely have some guys out there. Cox is a scary player. I mean, that dude, he makes me nervous. I mean, every time he's on the field, he makes me nervous when he's standing on the sideline. So it's just one of those guys that you just never know what he's going to do. Now, I noticed last week, and I don't know how far that got. Did he get injured last week? Is he okay? What's the situation with him?
He was a little sick, so he got dehydrated. He started cramping up. Like I said before, our offense is really putting our defense in a tough spot, by doing all these passing plays. That's keeping a lot of 3-and-outs, keeping our defense on the field a lot. The time of possession has not been in our favor over the last couple of games. And, he was just saying he wasn't able to eat for a couple of days, so he started cramping up. But after the game, in the press conference, he said he was all good.
That's good. Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, that's one thing when you come to Fletcher Cox is a phenomenal athlete. I mean, I'm surprised he's still in the league. I remember when I was a little kid watching 2009, 2010, watching him dominating the scene. So there just shows he's a perennial player, and he finally won that Super Bowl. And that's one thing. This offensive line is going to have to deal with him because he is going to come after us every single play because he still has that. He has the X factor. Mm-hmm. He is literally the captain of your defense if you had to pick one.
Yeah, man. Fletch is, like I said, my deal with Fletch is we pay him a lot of money. I want to see some more sacks. You know what I'm saying? You can't get paid that quarterback money and not produce sacks. You got other guys out there that get paid that much, but you also see the sacks come along with that. I understand he's one of the best, if not the best, run-stuffing defensive tackle in the league. But all that pressure you're doing, if you're not getting the sacks too, I feel like if we're paying you $15 million a year, $12 million a year, something like that, then I would say you are playing out of your mind. But consider the fact, you got to match the money with the talent. And giving him that much money, I want to see some more sacks and flex. But yeah, overall, he's having a good start to the year, so I'm really excited about that.
And we feel the same way with Frank Clark. I mean, he's getting $105 million a year, or $105 million contract, and he really hasn't done a lot of producing at this point. And it's, we know he's had some injuries and, he's had some issues with other things, but at this point, he's not lived up to his contract to a degree. He needed some help. We brought him some help. Now he's injured. And we don't know where that's going to go at this point, but we understand where you're coming from at that end. We've got one of the best, at one point, one of the best in the league, on the edge or on the corner, and he hasn't lived up to that standard yet. And we're hoping he will, but right now we just don't know. So that's where, hopefully Mike Dana steps in and we see what he can do. So
yeah, and the Eagles know Big Red is coming back to town,
That's right, baby.
Before I even start talking about Big Red, everybody in the Eagles community got mad respect for Big Red. We cheer for him as long as he's not playing us birds, you know what I'm saying? He's definitely been dominating us ever since he left Philadelphia. But I'm hoping this week we can change that narrative, especially since it's a very special game for Big Red. He's going to be one of the only coaches to win 100 games on 2 different teams. And I hope we can push it back another week for Big Red. Sorry about that, but I want to push it back one more week. But it's also, a great honor for him to hit that plateau.
Yeah, it was kind of comical. Caleb and I were talking about that. When he was asked about that in the presser, he said they asked him. They said, how's it feel to be the only coach in NFL history to win 100, or have 100 wins on 2 different teams, with 2 different organizations? And he said, well, that's why I held off. We lost these last 2 games so I could do it against the Eagles.
Oh, man. Classic Big Red, I tell you.
Big Red playing, Big Red's such a nice guy, and, he's such a lovable guy. And I'm we prayed for him, when he got sick during that game. And thank God he's back. And he's one tough individual to come back. And after a couple of days of being really ill, and he came back and did his press conference, and he's back out there coaching. So I got to give it to that man. He's in my opinion, the best head coach in football, and I wouldn't want anybody else coaching our team. I just wouldn't.
No, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. When it comes down to Andy Reid, he started off in Philly, did his thing. He brought in good talent, was able to get you guys 4 straight AFC championship games. Then they lost the Super Bowl. But I don't even tell you, BIRDGANG, there was one time when I had to be 10. No, I had to be 9 or 10 because I ended up seeing the Cardinals play the Eagles in an NFC championship game. And to this day, I will say that they should have won that game because there was a pass interference on the Cardinals, and probably all the Birds fans know what I'm talking about, and they never called it. And it's kind of like Andy Reid seems to get all these bad calls that happen to him.
Yeah.
To finally win the Super Bowl with the Chiefs, man, it was like, thank you, God, because that season was a whirlwind. I mean, Mahomes' kneecap was on the side of his leg. I mean, he had issues on the offensive line. I mean, Tyreek Hill was hurt. Kelsey wasn't doing it good at times. I mean, Mahomes almost tore his ACL, so it was just one crazy season.
And going to Caleb's point, that year that we won the Super Bowl, we had 14 injured starters during that season.
Yeah.
14 injured starters. And that's, throughout the season, of course, including Mahomes. And, when his knee was moved over 3.5 inches, or his kneecap, I should say, and they popped it back in the, on the field, he ran off the field. And at halftime, he was ready to come back out, and they wouldn't allow him to. And they actually said, it's going to be a 6-week thing, 4 to 6 week thing. And you figure with the half game he was out, 2.5 weeks later, he's back in. And he went to Super Bowl for Big Red. It was for Big Red. They wanted that win for that man. Mm-hmm. And he deserved it. He deserved it. He just really did. He's a great guy, man, all the way around.
Yeah, man, we were happy here in Philadelphia when Big Red won that Super Bowl. We were definitely cheering for the Chiefs that game, hoping he finally made it. We won our Super Bowl, Big Red won his Super Bowl, so now everybody's happy in both situations. So.
And we were cheering for you guys when you won the Super Bowl, man.
Yep.
We really were. We were glad you guys won a Super Bowl. You deserved it. Jason Kelsey, everybody deserved that win. It was just great to see it happen, and we were, kudos to you guys because you deserved it. It was just great to see it happen, man. So
it was great to see you guys put Tom Brady on his butt. That's what I enjoyed.
Yeah,
that's what I love, bro. Yes, it is.
Tom Brady lose was the best part, and JP will echo that. We do not like Tom Brady.
No,
I do not like.
He's been a thorn in our side for years.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's funny because as much as I was around John Elway during those years, and I still don't like John Elway, but I was up close and personal with him. In fact, I'll tell you a little quick one. When in 1998, when we broke the sound barrier, we have the loudest stadium in the NFL, fan-wise, and Elway actually stopped a game because of the noise.
Oh man.
And he wanted us fined. Dude, we were laughing so hard on the sidelines because I was actually on the sidelines. We were crying. And I was dying laughing. So he stopped the game and he's telling the refs, I can't hear. And the refs said, well, what do you want us to do? He said, find the team. He said, you want us to find the team because of the fans? And so the ref said, okay, everybody quiet down. We just got louder.
Right.
The fans just got louder. That's all that really happened. Mm-hmm. So during this whole entire experience of this, Elway just kept getting more frustrated and more irritated. And the more irritated he got, the more enjoyment we got out of it. So that is when it became the loudest team in the NFL. I couldn't stand John Elway. I don't like Brady even more. I mean, you don't understand the dislike I have for Tom Brady. I don't even know that you could understand the dislike I have for that man. So, somebody gave me his rookie card, I would sell it for the money. I would, because it's worth some money. And now, of course, Mahomes beat him by $1 million, which was great to see. I love that. The fact that a 4-year quarterback just outsold Brady's rookie card for an extra $1 million. Love that. That just probably put a stab in Brady's little ego, but just the whole fact of the matter that I would sell that card now and probably donate a bunch of money to every Chiefs fan I could find, just for the heck of it, and probably a few Eagles fans too, because that's just a great thing to see him get jabbed, by you guys. That was fantastic in my opinion. Yeah. And the best part about it is you guys did it with your backup quarterback, which was even just best thing that could have happened, man. I mean, that was fantastic.
The first time around when we played them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like we were cheated that game as well, man. We had Tito out there with a broken ankle, just putting up yards all over the pass that game. That would have been the first championship for Reed. That would have been awesome back in those days too. But we got a good matchup coming here this week too. You know what I'm saying? So we got a question from my buddy Grandzilla 12. He said, what 3 rookie Chiefs players have impressed you the most?
Oof. Caleb, you go first and I'll go second.
Okay, cool. So the 3 rookie players. So I'm going to start with Nick Bolton. That's one guy. I think he's another great defensive linebacker who's able to stop the run, do many different things like that. My second one, it's going to be, and this is going to be hard. It's going to be Trey Smith. Creed Humphreys, our center. Took this man to Oklahoma. He wasn't on my draft board because I wasn't really looking at offensive line. I thought they were going to take someone else in the first round, but they ended up taking someone else completely different. And lastly, the draft, Trey Smith.
Yes.
Another great offensive lineman out of Tennessee. He had blood clots, and he dropped all the way to the 6th round. And I think, I forgot his name, but he does the Senior Bowl. And he was saying, why did he drop so far? This guy is so great. So the Chiefs basically retooled their whole offensive line with these 2 rookies, which is phenomenal if you want to protect your quarterback. That's how you want to do it. You got to stop the run game with Nick Bolton, get these 2 guys, center and tackle, and you're golden.
I got to echo exactly what he said. I mean, those 3 guys are exactly the guys that they were the steal. He was the steal of the draft. And the strange part about it was the blood clots were, if I'm not mistaken, 2 to 3 years prior to this all coming about, and he hadn't had an incident since then. So for everybody to bypass him over something that happened 3 years prior, and he hadn't had a problem since, and given the fact that these guys, which one of them hadn't allowed a sack in I don't know how long, or allowed one sack in his entire college career, it was just those three guys, in my opinion, have just solidified the fact that, number one, Veach knows how to scout talent, but they have just impressed all the way around. I mean, you took three guys out of college that have done better than all of our veterans combined over the last 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, that I echo everything he said. It's exactly who impressed me the most.
I guess, yeah, that works out for both of us here, huh, Sonic? He said, what do you guys thoughts about LaShawn McCoy retiring as an Eagle? I love Shady. Straight
Should
up.
have.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He should have never left Philadelphia in the first place. I hated
Kelly's
Chip
fault.
Kelly.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's the guy who just destroyed our perfect team, I felt like. You know, we were
Yeah.
on the rise with that team. He just came and dismantled it. And Shady was definitely one of the all-time favorite Eagles players, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, much love him coming back, retiring where he should have never left in the first place. I know
He should have retired an Eagle.
he
He should have retired an Eagle. That's, you know, in my
I
opinion.
he played with you guys, didn't he, for a couple of years?
He
Yeah,
did.
he played for one season.
One season with us.
He won the Super Bowl, which was good for
Yeah,
him. He had
yeah.
some fumbling issues, but other than that, he contributed at the right time during the seasons.
Yeah, it was a really strange situation. He carried. It was kind of weird because even Andy said that wasn't characteristic of him, but he carried the ball like a loaf of bread there during that time with us, and it got him
That's how he
benched.
did with us, man. That's Shady for you.
Yeah,
We lost
you
a
know,
couple games because of that, though.
yeah, we did, and it was kind of strange because you know Andy actually got him benched, and Andy said you know it was uncharacteristic for him to fumble as many times as he did, but I think that may have been Andy being nice as well. But again, we were glad to see him come in, and I was glad that he did get signed. And I'm glad he won the Super Bowl with us. I think he deserved it, but he did deserve to retire as an Eagle. That's where he thrived there. I mean, he really did. So that was his team.
Yeah, man. I love Shady McCoy. Much love to him coming back, like I said. Tell me this. Give me two players you worry about the most on offense and two players you worry about the most on defense coming into this game against the Eagles.
Go ahead, JP.
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. I lost what you said.
I said two players on the offense and then two players on the defense that you worry about the most coming into this matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm worried. I tell you what. You know, Hurts can be dangerous if you release him. I mean, if you let him do what he is good at, he can be dangerous. Your running back can also be dangerous if you let him, and that worries me. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest with you. Your running back worries me. Cox always worries me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sorry, but we talked about that. That guy scares me when he's on the sidelines. Yeah, he just does. I mean, he's a scary guy. Your corner, and I can't think of his name right now. You got a corner.
Darius Slay?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That dude, man, that dude there seems like he's like that little mouse on Tom and Jerry, bro. He just shows up. He's just there. And I'm like, damn, where the hell did he come from? He was like 34 yards over there, and he just showed up and intercepted. I don't know, man. You guys got some talent on that team, but those are the guys that scare me the most, man. They worry me. Cox scares the hell out of me. He does. He scares me, and I'm a long ways away from you guys, man. He scares me.
He's a big guy.
Yep. So
for me, I think when it comes down to two offensive players, it's obviously going to be Jalen Hurts. Usually, in my experience as a Chiefs fan, the player who's trying to prove themselves always balls out against us. So I'm going to say Jalen Hurts, but I'm also going to say not Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. Get those guys confused. Devontae Smith is another speedster receiver. He's going to test our secondary. We cannot really press him. I don't know how they're going to stop him. They may have the double team, but they're going to have to they're going to have to put an umbrella over the top to stop the big plays. Because we know Jalen can sling it. We know Devontae can run, and that's one combination we need to shut down early. And then when it comes to your defense, I agree with JP's. It's Fletcher Cox. But your linebacker core, man, has been pretty good. They've been pretty good. They've been able to stop teams with running the ball and getting fumbles at different times. And those are just, that's kind of just what I've been seeing so far.
Yeah.
And if I had to answer the question, obviously Patty Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? I hope he continues to turn over the ball. Please, Patty, give us a
Haven't been
couple
his
of free
fault though,
ones.
man.
Give us a couple of free ones like you were giving them out last week, my guy. Like I want them. I need them. We need any kind of advantage to, take over this game. You know what I'm
I don't know why
saying?
you gotta bring that shit up, but all right, I'll go along with
No, no,
it.
I'm only bringing it up because I'm telling you that's what I need Patty to do. You know what I'm saying? If he
That's not
doesn't,
his
if
fault
he
though.
go
Those
out there and he
interceptions, man.
balls out like he normally does, we're gonna be in for a long game, a very long game. So I need Patty to, just don't come back 100% this week. You know what I'm saying? Another guy is Tyreek Hill, man, the cheetah.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever the cheetah is live, man, woo, he is so hard to stop. No one can really guard him. I'm kind of even worried about who should we even put on there. Everybody's like, put Big Play Slay on him. I'm like, well, I'd
He
rather
burnt
have
play
Slay on
Slay.
Hartman because Slay is taller, And you see what happens in that San Diego game. Them tall receivers will jump right over, those shorter receivers. So I'd rather have Hartman on Slay on Hartman because he's your second receiver, right?
Yes.
Hartman.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Technically, yes.
Yeah. And then I'd rather have, Steven Nelson play the cheetah would help over the top. You
Wait,
know?
who'd you
Nelson
say?
on your team?
Wait a minute, who did you say?
Oh no! Oh,
Steven
I hope the
Nelson
Chiefs definitely win now.
Oh, I hope they do that. Oh, I hope they put Steven Nelson on the
would help
cheetah.
over the top.
Well,
Like,
he needs about 4 or 5 helps over the top.
Steven
we got some
Nelson,
good safeties
he
back
had a
there with
bad run with Chiefs.
Anthony Harris and McLeod. Hopefully, will be back this week. And if they're both back there, then I'm not worried about the deep stuff with those two guys. Those guys are some pretty good, Pro Bowl safeties back there. I won't worry so much about it, but I don't think he can play them one on one. He definitely gonna have to throw two people on that guy.
I had no clue that Nelson was still in the game. I thought he was done.
Nelson
Yeah, man, I thought he was done. He ain't got no reputation in Kansas City, bro.
from
He burnt the
Pittsburgh.
bridge.
He was from Kansas City, bro. And then he went to Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, he did go. He was from Kansas City first.
Yeah, he burned a lot of bridges in Kansas City with his mouth. Yeah, man, he ran his mouth a lot, and then he didn't back that mouth up there in Pittsburgh, and then then he went to you guys. I guess I didn't think he got picked back up. I had no clues with you guys.
Yeah, he's with us right now, man, and he's been playing some good ball. Like he's been playing some good ball so far this year. I wasn't that high on him. I really wanted us to go after Howard from Miami a lot harder.
Yeah.
Or even pick up, Sherman before he got into that whole altercation thing that he got into. Or even when we were doing that joint practice with the Patriots, see if we can pull away, a guy like Gilmore, to pair him up with Slay. But he was like the fourth guy on my list, in terms of all the free agent cornerbacks we had a choice out of. And, he, like I said, I've been hard on him, especially in the preseason. He was getting burnt, lit up left and right. You know what I'm saying? Like by our players, by other players. Everybody was just seeing the roast. He was the only one I kept hearing about. Nelson gets burned. But coming into the season, these first 3 games, he's definitely held it down. That blown play last week against the Lamb was like the only thing that he gave up big. That was like the first drive of the game. But other than that, he played a solid game. So I'm not hating on him too much. And as long as he continues to play better, I'm all for it because we definitely needed someone that was better than what we had on the other side of Big Play Slate if he cannot do it all by himself. So,
but he got burned a lot when he was in Kansas City. I mean, he was on fire when he was in Kansas City. So I'm telling you, man, he just ran down the field just like flames just flying off of him. He was just not that great. But he talked a big game. Don't get me wrong.
No, he definitely talked.
Yeah, he talked a big game, but he just didn't back up that talk when he was here. But that's why he's no longer here, I guess. But
yeah, one thing I would add to JP's point is he had good games. He did pretty good, but when you needed him the most, he kind of disappeared like the AFC Championship game. Him and Eric Berry just kind of disappeared in the defense. Gave up 3 third and 10 plays in a row. And next thing you know is they're going down the field. They win the game in overtime. Mahomes doesn't even get the ball in the AFC Championship game, and it's over. So different things like that just shows you, like, hey, he can play. He's a good player. Like BIRDGANG said on our show, he's an NFL reason. He just didn't work in our system, honestly.
Exactly.
And also, man, our coordinator was terrible. Bob Sutton. He should be teaching at a college course than being a defensive coordinator. Because as JP has said on our show many times, he had 3 to 4 schemes. That's all he had. And you can't have that as a defense coordinator. They're going to
and his 4th scheme matched his 3rd scheme, so really it was 3. I mean, he was terrible. Honestly, he had a bend, don't break mentality. So he didn't care if he had this mentality that he didn't care if you ran up 300 or 400 yards as long as you kept them out of the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that mentality doesn't work when you gas your defense to the point where by the beginning of the third quarter you're going to allow some touchdowns. It just is what it is.
Hey, that was the story of the game last week from us against Dallas. You know what I'm saying? That bend but don't break did not work. The only thing plus side I see that our defense done over the last first 3 games here is the star players haven't really been factors, that much, in terms of the passing game. Like you said, that bend but don't break defense that little shell cover 2 shell that they were like to run. It's like it is really, I guess, as much as I don't like it, it is kind of good against the passing. We had Ridley and Cal Pitts first game. Even though it was Cal Pitts' first game of this year, I knew he wasn't going to ball out his first game of the year. He was a rookie. They didn't do nothing. Then we went to San Francisco. Debo just had a 189-yard game. He didn't really do nothing. And Kittles, who is the second best tight end in the league, we held him to like 29 yards. And even last week with Amari Cooper and what's his name, CD Lamb, they didn't really do too much against us either. So I understand the passing aspect of that, but this is a new league now where it's like you can't just come with your one game plan. You gotta be willing to change that game plan up in the middle of the game, in the middle of a series, even. You know what I'm saying? You can't hold the same defense throughout a whole game. You gotta switch it up. If they run on you, you gotta make them stop. If they're passing on you, gotta make them stop. So you can't. Oh, we're building but don't break. And because that's what we do a lot of too over here in Philadelphia. And it's like it's so frustrating. Like you said, Zeke and Pollard were just breaking off runs, left and right, left and right. And it's like, who's to even say you can guarantee him not to score once they get to the red zone, And like you said, when they pound on you, they're pounding on that defense. By the third quarter, everybody's gassed on the defense. The guys that are rotated in are gassed. Everybody's just gassed out because they didn't have the ball for so long. And usually that's when you get a lot of points scored. Like I said, we were close all the way up until halftime. Then after that, that's when they really kind of pulled away there. Just from, running the same defense. You got to be multiple these years, this era of football. So, yeah, man, I totally understand that.
But and that's what happened to us as well. I mean, everybody was hammering us about our defense the first 2 games, which honestly, I mean, they didn't play well. Our defense was not that great. But the third game, our defense came out and they were killing it. They looked so good. Our run defense looked great. Everybody was on top of things. But then you look at it we were on the field when I really went back and watched all 22. By really 5 minutes into the third quarter, we were on the field 67% of the time. Our defense was. How are you going to expect these guys to be able to withstand that? It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry, but it's not. And they just got spent. And by that point, then you're going to start giving up some yardage, some touchdowns, and people are just going to be all over the place. They're actually at that point, you're almost going to forget your assignments to that degree.
Yeah.
And even a guy like Tyrann Mathieu, which is the smartest, in my opinion, and everybody else is probably the smartest safety in this league. Oh yeah. He's not even going to get his mind straight. We watched him after he came back off COVID, which he did. He was vaccinated and was very sick. He had 2 interceptions within a quarter.
First quarter.
In the first quarter, and was sucking oxygen, which you never see that man do, because he was so out of breath, in that Ravens game. But yet, during this last game, he just looked almost out of sorts at the end. Or from the third quarter on, everybody just looked gassed. I mean, it was just it was terrible because our defense just looked so much better, but it didn't help because our offense didn't complement it.
Yeah, man, and that's what I was going to say. As one of my 2 players on defense that I was worried about, the Honey Badger, man. I wanted the Eagles to get him out of that draft. I was so mad we didn't get him. Like I watched him play in LSU, and that guy is a beast, man.
He is a beast.
Great beast. 100%. He's got that energy that can uplift any defense, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he's a playmaker. He's not scared to hit nobody. He's not scared to take it to the house if he intercepts it. He can do it all at that safety position. And then I think your defensive tackle, Clark, is that what his name is?
Clark.
Clark,
He not play, though.
He's not playing?
He may
Probably
not. He's
not.
dealing with hamstring issues First it was the right one, now it's the left one. So it's kind of been up in the air. Hey, we got Mike Dana, Kane though. We got Chris Jones. We got a lot of giving guys.
Chris Jones is
Don't
another
worry.
one. Okay, if Clark don't play, then Chris Jones too is another guy. I'm definitely gonna be keeping my eyes on.
He's really fourth in the league right now, and they moved him. They put him in a different. They kind of moving him around from the edge to the middle, and they're trying him in different positions. And you leave Chris Jones in the middle, along with some help. He's dangerous, man. That dude. He's just straight up dangerous. But Mike, that's what I was saying. That Mike Dana, if he's in the game, he plays hard, bro. He's a beast, and he's got something to prove right now, and that's what he's doing. He's proving it. He did very well last week until he got gassed, but he did very well. I have a lot of confidence in that man. I really do. And we don't know what's going to happen with Clark right now. Right now he's what is he? I guess he's listed as questionable. I think at this point. So. We don't know what's going to happen with him, and we don't know how much, if any, he's going to play. If they do put him in, if they list him as a go, we don't know how much he's going to play at this point. So,
well, we'll be, no, we don't wish nobody injury, but it will help us out a lot if he wasn't playing. So let's move on. The next question was, what are your 3 keys to victory? 3 things for sure. If you guys do, you think you guys will be able to pull out this win?
For us.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go or you want to go, Caleb?
You go, man. You're good.
I got to tell you, really, honestly, it's going to be run D is going to be, in my opinion, number 1 is stopping the run, which we've been able to do. We've moved that forward and done pretty well with that. But releasing Mahomes and letting him play his game, and just going back to the basics and just doing what we do best. And it's just moving the ball downfield and scoring. We've been, which we've done. I mean, we're averaging, up until this Chargers game, which divisional games are always tough. And the Chargers are no joke.
Yeah.
People can say what they want, but the Chargers are no joke. That's a tough football team, and whoever's going to play them, they're going to feel it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Herbert's solidified himself as one of the better quarterbacks in the league right now, and there's a reason why he made the top 100. After his rookie season, he got tossed into the fire. But our 3 keys is going to be just let Mahomes play his game, go back to the basics, do what we do, score 33 points a game, and make sure our defense stays on track. That's my opinion. What about you, Caleb?
Number 1 out of 3. Turnovers. You cannot turn the ball over 4 times and expect to win the game. The Chiefs were lucky to turn the ball over 4 times and still be down, I think it was 4 points. Yeah. Somehow, they didn't lose by 20 or more. Mm-hmm. Second, the linebacking core. They have to be versatile. They have to lock down the field and make sure players such as Jalen Hurts cannot run out of the pocket. Ben Neiman, he's going to have to be moved around a lot more. Bring in players like Darius Harris to take his place if applicable. Even Darnell Daniel. I've been preaching this for years now. You have Darnell Daniel, who has been on this team for years and has not gotten enough playing time. You're putting him in special teams. That's not how it should be anymore. Move Neiman over to special teams. And lastly, let Mahomes do his thing, a.k.a. let him cook. You have to let Mahomes cook. He cannot stay in a pocket. If you see this as a circle, he cannot stay in that circle. He's going to have to do zigzags on the outside, the perimeter, all around. That's how Mahomes is. He's one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz. Therefore, when he gets out of the pocket, he is extremely, extremely good and accurate.
That's why, if you notice, the Ravens are the number 1 blitz team in the league. Okay? They blitz more than anyone else in football. In fact, I think their average was somewhere around 48% blitz rate. You know how many times they blitzed us? Their percentage? 4%. 4. Because they know they blitz Mahomes, they're screwed.
He talked him up all 3 times beforehand. He talked him up all 3 times against the blitz. You can't blitz Mahomes.
You can't blitz Mahomes because you blitz that man, you're done for it. And that's the biggest thing. The biggest mistake most teams make is blitzing him. But also, we've made the mistake by trying to make him a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers style of quarterback. Mm-hmm. And the people that I've spoken with within the organization and other entities that I got contacts with have all said they've mirrored the same conversation that Caleb and I have had on the show for the last, 3 shows now, that he can't stay in the pocket. Mahomes is best when he's rolling out of the pocket. He sees better. The wide receivers see him. They've grown accustomed to his style of play, and that's just the way it is. If you let that man loose and let him play his backyard football, you ain't going to stop that man. Nobody's been able to do it since before. So why change? Why fix what ain't broke?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's the problem. They've tried to fix something that's not broken. He ain't broken. He's just not broken.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think our 3 keys of victory is going to be pressure, with our front four. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to do what we do best. That's where the strength of our defensive is that defensive line. We need Cox to have a game. We need Hargrave to continue to be the dominant force he is in that middle right now. And we need to see Kerrigan come alive. We lost BG, but Ryan Kerrigan stepping in, and we also got a couple guys rotating with him. We're going to need to see Josh Sweat. He just got the big contract. Why isn't he playing it so much? We need to see him come out, and play some good football there. Then number 2 would be get that run game going. Miles Sanders is a beast. And, a lot of people don't consider him one of the better running backs, but I think it's only because you haven't seen him get enough carries. Last year, the whole year, he was not getting carries, you know what I'm saying? And it's coming into this year. The last 2 games, last game, he only had 2 carries, and that definitely got to change. You need to set up the pass with the run and get Miles Sanders on fire. Last year you still seen him. He was the only player last year I think had 3 80-yard runs. You know what I'm saying? He leads the league right now in yards per touch on first down with 8.6. So get this man the ball. Let him earn the money that he's supposed to be, that he's making, and he's supposed to be trying to make for his new contract, because I know he's only got another year left on his contract. So, don't hose him out, but not give him the ball so you can negotiate a good deal, Howie. Get on your coaches to get this running game started, because you're going to need it. The best friends of a young quarterback is running the ball and your tight ends. That's just another thing we need to get started. We need to get Goddard and Ertz, alive in this game and hit them early and often. You know what I'm saying? The last game, we hit them a couple of times. You seen Ertz get the touchdown. You see Goddard make that good play over the middle. And that's going to free up all your other young players. You start running the ball, start getting the ball to these veteran tight ends. Then you let Quez and Rager and, Smith get into the game. They'll start opening them up, freeing them up. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody won't be focused so much on them. And I think that'll help our offense out a lot. And I think that'll be a really good key to the game. On defense, like I said, defense, getting the pressure up the middle. And just number 3 would be no more penalties. These first 3 games, we are leading the NFL in penalties, man. We cannot stop getting them. It was 13 penalties last game, 11 penalties the first game, 11, 12 penalties the second game. We have to stop the penalties. That's shooting ourselves in the foot. It's messing up the, time of possession for one. It's messing up the yards. You know what I'm saying? You're going from 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 15 or 3rd and, 13 or something like that, and that's just messing up our drives, man. We need to get focused. Nick Sirianni needs to get these guys in line and start getting them. If we have, every game you can probably have 1 or 2 penalties. You know what I'm saying? 2 or 3. But to have double-digit penalties every single game of the season, that's just uncalled for as many veterans we have, and they're the ones making the penalties. It's the veterans, so you can see it from a rookie. But those penalties, if we stop that, run the ball, and get our tight ends involved in that defensive line, pull up that pressure up the middle on Mahomes and get to them, I think we have a chance at it.
Well, and that's the one thing. You got a great quarterback and you got a great tight end. You know what I'm saying? You got 2 great players right there. And I think if you get the continuity with Hurts and Jalen, that's gonna be a great combination going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that you got to really, I think they need to work on as well, is getting those 2 guys connected, because I've always liked Ertz. I've always thought he was a great tight end, and I think if he would have had better coaching and maybe a little bit more involved in the offense as a receiver style tight end, he would have had a lot better numbers and been a lot more talked about, I should say, if you want to go that direction. Mm-hmm. But I think he's one of the better tight ends in football. Mm-hmm. People, they always want to bring up of course, Kelsey, but then they bring up George Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb and I have talked about this numerous times. I don't know why they got Kittle, in my opinion, why they got him number 2. The guy's been in the league, is this his 3rd or 4th season? And he's been injured for 3 of them. I mean, he's been out of the...
I think it was more for that first year, right? Because he was so dominant. Like, Kittle was pretty explosive, man.
Yeah.
Like, if he's healthy,
like,
he's definitely one of the best in the league. If not, some people can argue whether he is the best or not when he's up, because he can run block. He can, he's a really good blocker on that line of scrimmage, and he's also really fast and athletic once he gets the ball in his hand. But like I said, Kelsey's a complete tight end too. I definitely have him number 1. But after that, back in that day, I think that's when Zach Ertz was considered number 3 in the league.
But the difference is, the problem is that old school tight end that he wants to be, you can't really be that anymore. Okay? That style of tight end, and we've talked about this, and even guys that I talk to that are in the league say the same thing. That style of tight end is pretty much out the window. Yes, you need to block, okay? But the one thing Kittle has said numerous times is, I love to block. I love to hit people. Okay, well, that's not your only job. Your job, if you want to be a Travis Kelce, you want to be a Zach Ertz, you need to go out there and not only protect yourself against being injured and being out for the entire season, but you also have to be able to catch the ball and make sure you don't get yourself hurt. If you want to be able to be, you got to be an all-purpose tight end. You can't get yourself hurt all the time because you love to hit people. If you love to hit people so much, then play a different position.
Right.
Okay, it is what it is. And he's big, but he's not that big. Okay? I don't know what his weight is, but I don't think he's as heavy as an Ertz. I don't think he's as heavy as a Kelsey. He doesn't look as heavy. I mean, he looks a lot thinner, in my opinion. And I just don't see why it would be, in my opinion, it's not intelligent to go out there and just want to go out and hit people just to hit them when you're in that position. That'd be like saying, Tyreek, you're a wide receiver, I know you are, but go out there and just hit the shit out of somebody because you like to do it. Okay? Nobody wants to do it, because your job is to go out, catch the football, score touchdowns, and wide receivers block too. They throw blocks all the time, but they don't put themselves in positions to get hurt. They throw blocks to protect and open up something for somebody else. It's not what his mindset is. His mindset is, let me go out, hit somebody. If I hurt him, I hope I do. Just things like that. That's just not how you play.
What's going on with our talk with a lot of Eagles fans with Goddard on our team? Because Goddard's that guy that once he does get the ball, he tries to fight and break and, go all out for every yard he can get. But it's like, I'm on the fence with that kind of situation, because I want my players, regardless of what position you are, fight for every yard. You know what I'm saying? Go back to, like, that's what you get paid to do. You know what I'm saying? Is it really, is that going to be conducive to you having a long career? Maybe not, because you are going to take a lot more punishment to your body. But at the same time, it's what you're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? I like when I see Goddard, knocking people over, and like there's more people coming. He's just like fighting them off and still going. Instead of, you see Zach Ertz, when Zach Ertz gets the ball, he's not that athletic where he's going to outrun anybody. So, you know what I'm saying? He might take that one hit, but he's going to make sure he gets down,
exactly.
as possible. So,
exactly. Smart move.
Yeah.
Smart move. I mean, it's a smart way to play the game.
Yeah.
Kelsey does the same thing. He's not the quickest guy. He's quick, but he's not extremely quick. He'll take some hits, but he's also able to move and get around some people too. He proved that last week. He fought for a touchdown, and he needed to fight for that touchdown, and I'm glad he did. But he's a smart player, and that's what you have to be in this league. You have to be a smart player. It just is what it is. And there was somebody we were talking about earlier. Tyrann Mathieu. His football IQ, there's no ceiling to it.
Yeah.
There's no ceiling to his football IQ. And I can see that in players that you guys have. There are certain players that you like, even like a Fletcher Cox. His football IQ, there's no ceiling. You guys have players that have that same attribute. And when you have that attribute, that's what brings you to a different level, an elite level, because you know what you can and can't do on a football field that's going to give you longevity and make you an elite football player for not just the 2.5 or 3.5 years that they give you, but for 10 or 15 years down the line, like a Larry Fitzgerald. Okay?
That
One of my favorite players in the league.
Picking up is Larry Fitzgerald to help out Devontae Smith and these young receivers. Why not pick them up, put them out there, let them help them out, teach them a thing or two. You need a first down on 3rd and long. Give it to face. He knows how to get open for that 6-7 yards. So
man, I love Larry, dude. I wanted him so bad when he was up for his contract, and I thought there for a minute back in the day we were going to get him, and just for a minute I thought we had him, and then it didn't happen. And I was so upset. I even sent him a message on I think it was Twitter or something, and I said, "Damn, I wanted you to come to Kansas City so bad." I message a lot of people, and sometimes, I don't know the man. I never met him. There's a lot of players I do know and I talk to on Twitter, but I never got to meet him. I would love to meet him. I think he's one of my favorite players, and he is one of my favorite players, and I would love to just to talk to the guy for 15 minutes.
You gotta respect those guys that did it for a long time. It doesn't matter what team they play for.
Yeah,
my favorite player of all time. Well, I can't really say that. Kinda. Barry Sanders is my favorite player of all time, but I don't know. Randall Cunningham kind of topples him a little bit. So my second favorite of all time, never even played with the Eagles. Barry Sanders. I think he's the best back ever, and I don't even think any backs ever even came close. Like everybody wants to say Emmitt Smith. I'm like, look how long it took Emmitt Smith to get that, and he had the biggest line in the world for his career. Like he wasn't getting touched for like 10 yards when he was out there doing what he was doing. So Barry Sanders had to make every single yard because his team was garbage. You weren't really worried about nobody else on the team, and he could have came back any one of those years. He retired in 1 year, and broke the record. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't. He was disrespected. He wanted to move on. They wouldn't let him out of his contract and stuff, so he retired. You got to respect him and like a couple other guys like Jim Brown and stuff. But, it took Emmitt another 6 years to break the record. You know what I'm saying? Like 5 or 6 years to break that record that he could have came back and played a half a season and broke. You know what I'm saying? Like just the difference of how much talent he had as opposed to Emmitt. I'm not a big fan. Not just because he played for the Cowgirls. I just never really.
He said the Cowgirls.
I never been a big fan of Emmitt Smith there, man. Like he's alright. He wasn't nothing that was like, ooh, there's a special running back. Like anybody, literally, if you gave him, who he had.
If you gave him like that,
those linemen were
by
beasts.
yourself anyway.
Yeah, I could have ran for the record, playing 10 years in Dallas behind that line, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Well, it's funny you talk about Barry Sanders. It's something that everybody used to argue with me about when it came to Barry, because he was such a loyal guy for a long time with Detroit. And then you're right, he did get disrespected because he wanted out. But the one thing that I was amazed with, there was a play, and I'm trying to remember, I think they were playing, it might have been the Cowboys. Dude, he was running, and he slanted his body, and I'll never forget this play. You could probably find it on YouTube somewhere, but his body was slanted so far to the right that his helmet was, I'm not kidding, Caleb, his helmet was probably 2 inches off of the ground.
Oh, wow.
And somehow he kept his body from touching the ground, and he dodged 3 defenders and brought himself back up and ran another 48 yards for a touchdown. And when I saw that play, I said, there's not another person with his size and stature that could have ever done something like that, and I've never yet to see somebody do that. But it wasn't the first time he had gotten that low on a slant.
Every game he was a highlight reel. Every single game you watch Barry, I think he had maybe 1 or 2 games in his whole career where he didn't have that many yards. But other than that, man, even if you stopped in the whole first half, by that second half, he was coming out and he was going to light you up, man. Like, he did spin moves, shake moves. He broke ankles. Remember that play?
Bro.
Rod Wilson was trying to guard him. He was with his foot, and he literally broke his ankle.
Yeah, man.
And juking him out of his socks. So, yeah.
Hey, let me answer this dude's question.
Yeah, that's why I left it up.
I'm about to say, too, he's been popping off for a while now.
Yeah, he's been running his mouth for a little bit. He's got to be young,
he's a Niners fan. Well, where were they in the Super Bowl? I mean,
I didn't see them in the Super Bowl.
Kelsey got a touchdown. Kittle got 1 catch.
One catch and a touchdown. I mean, I don't know where he was at. But I did say he said he would be back. I ain't seen him back yet either. I saw him sitting on the sideline when he was injured. Hold up.
What do you guys think about his blocking in general?
He can block just as good as anyone else. He's a great.
He's actually smart.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he's not throwing his body out and getting hurt.
Yeah,
let's see. Gronk is a great example. He just goes out there crazy. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt.
Exactly, and that's why his brain is scrambled eggs. Do you want me? Let me be honest.
Gronk's back. You can't hate on Gronk.
No, I'm not going to hate on him, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The man's had 22 concussions. The man's had 22 concussions, okay? By the time he was 28 years old, he had 22 concussions. The man was on, what show was that, Caleb? Where they spell they talk about where you got to spell. What is that show?
I'm not for sure.
It was a pyramid show. What's that called? $100,000 pyramid.
$100,000 pyramid.
Dude, they asked him. He spelled the word cat with a K.
Oh, man.
Okay, let me ask you something. It was him and Julian Edelman. He spelled cat with a K. Look, you can say whatever you want to say about Kelsey can't block, whatever. Kelsey blocks just fine, but he's intelligent, and yet he's 31 and just signed another 6-year contract and going to play another 6 years. Just broke another record and still ranked number 1 in the league as a tight end. And I can only remember one time in his entire career that he's been injured. One time. So
the best quality being available.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Being available.
That's exactly right. Availability. Exactly. Availability and still being able to play your game is much more important to me than saying I can hit.
Right.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So when he gets to that point, when Kittle gets to that point at that age, that he can say, I've played this many games, I've scored this many touchdowns, I've got this many yards, and by the way, he reached that yardage faster than any other tight end in football. In the history of football, Kelsey just surpassed that.
It is a passing league now.
It is.
Exactly.
But it wasn't what 10 years ago, it wasn't like that when he came into the league. It wasn't nearly as much as a passing league as it is now. Okay, Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Who do you guys think was better, Tony in his prime or
That's
Kelsey
tough.
in his prime?
That's tough because I know Tony. That's tough because I know Tony. And I'm going to say this. Tony was...
No disrespect to Mr. Gonzalez. I think he's one of the best tight ends ever to play as well.
I do too. Now, Tony played at a time when, I'll say this because I knew the wide receivers that we had, but Tony was the biggest wide receiver tight end that the NFL had seen. Mm-hmm. And he had hands. He was an all-star basketball player. Could have went any direction. The guy didn't miss, okay? He just didn't miss. Mm-hmm. You could throw him anything, and he would catch it. There's no disrespect to Tony at all in any way. If I had to say longevity-wise, because he played 17 years in the league, okay?
At a high level, too.
At a high level,
yeah.
Okay? I would have to say right now, Tony Gonzalez. Mm-hmm. Now, 6 years from now, maybe a different story. Tony had 110 touchdowns in his career as a tight end. That's a lot for the time that he played. Mm-hmm. Okay? Antonio Gates retired, came back, and had to beat his touchdown record. Okay? Mm-hmm. So, in my opinion, right now, I would have to say Tony Gonzalez was a better tight end in that respect. But you know what the difference is, though? Tony wasn't a big blocker either. He blocked, but he was intelligent. Okay? There's the difference between being a huge giant, I love to hit everybody, and being a smart, very intelligent football IQ player that can block and also go out there, score, and catch every football that comes your way. Kelsey modeled his game after Gonzalez. Mm-hmm. He knew that that's how he was going to do this, and that's how your longevity comes. So there you go. There's your answer. I mean, Tony was one of the best to play the game. In fact, not the best tight end. And I think Kelsey's probably going to surpass him. I mean, in my opinion.
Okay.
So.
You too, Caleb?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. When it comes down to the end of the day, Gonzalez is good. Now, when I'm looking at it from my perspective, I really didn't get to see Gonzalez get to really play. Actually, with the first year I got to kind of follow the Chiefs heavily, he was more traded off. And I got to see him come to Kansas City and do his dunk on the Chiefs and everything. When I'm looking from my perspective, I think Kelsey, honestly, is better. But he's better because he is a lot more versatile. He can do a lot of different things. He's more of a jump ball. He can block, which I don't know still why we're even in this debate. And he can just do so many different more things. He can run the entire route tree. He can play basically a wide receiver. And that's something Gonzalez could do. But Kelsey has somewhat, in a way, perfected to where he is, he is the first target in Tyreek's 1A. Like, he's up there basically taking a spot from a receiver when you're looking at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both great, man. You know, the Kels family in general. Cause we got a Kels on our side, too.
I love him too, man. He's hilarious, man. He cracks me up, bro.
Yeah, that Super Bowl speech was legendary. That's legendary. Well, we're at an hour, man. Thank you guys for coming on. But at the end of my shows, you know, usually it's an Eagles content creator or whatever team you support. I do an all-time Eagles team. But since you guys are Kansas City, I want to do an all-time Chiefs team with you guys. You know what I'm saying? I like to bring it in at the end because keep you fresh to see, you know, about your favorite player. Now, this doesn't have to be, you know, your team, you know, that has the number one stats or whatever like that. This is just a team you guys can pick from the players you guys watch over the years. You know, you guys got a little bit of both. You know, you got a little bit of age and you got a little bit of youth right there. So I imagine this team could be mixed up. If you guys want to switch positions in terms of, like, I give you a position, you know, you can do one, the other one can do one, and then we can move on from there. But it usually goes pretty fast. You know, like I said, don't try to, you know, beat your brain about it. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of flow out and let it be whatever team. And let's have some fun with it there. First off, we start with your quarterback. Give me your starting quarterback for the all-time Chiefs team, and who will be backing them up?
Mahomes. I mean, that's the guy right there. Honestly, if I were to pick a backup, it would be Lynn Dawson.
Lynn Dawson? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then do you want to do it too, or do you want to just do the next position, but just alternate back and forth?
We can just alternate. JP can take the running back.
Okay, running back. Give me 3 running backs, JP.
Woof. I'm gonna say Kareem Hunt. Let me go backward. You talking about are you trying to say like 1, 2, 3 all time?
No, they don't have to be any certain order. Just give me basically like your 3 favorite running backs.
Well, my 3 favorite running backs. Okay, I'm gonna say Christian Okoye. Because I mean, it's Christian. I'm gonna say Jamal Charles, and I gotta say it because I love the guy, Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt, yeah. Hey, that's a nice list there. Give me 2 tight ends.
I'm gonna take Travis Kelce and then Tony Gonzalez. Put them both honestly at the same time. That
was the easy one. 12 personnel all day, right?
Yep.
Give me 4 receivers. If you guys want to split that one, since it's a 4-1, you guys can if you want.
You do too, JP, and I'll do that too.
Man, I mean, Tyreek Hill, of course. I mean, you can't really ask for much more than him. But you know what? I'm going to go a different direction. And I'm going to say Dwayne Bowe.
Ooh.
Okay.
Bowe was a beast, yes.
So
I'm going to say J.J. Burden. He's basically, we've had him on the show before, former player for the Chiefs. He basically was the Tyreek Hill before the Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
He is a fast, awesome player. And for my second wide receiver, JP, you took Dwayne Bowe from me, man. So this one's going to be tough. But I'm going to say Otis Taylor from back in the day.
Taylor,
and here, let me tell you something. Caleb just made me feel like total shit. And I'm sorry I just cussed on the show. JJ's a very good friend of mine, and I've known him for 31 years, man. It makes me feel bad that I didn't say his name, but when it comes to...
You guys are the perfect team because he had your back.
He did have my back.
He had your
back. You got my back, bro. You got my back.
Let's go with that offensive line. You know, who's going to be starting 5 offensive linemen?
I'm just going to say this. A mixture of the offensive line we have now, the Secret Service, versus the offensive line we have from the 2000s era. JP probably agree with me. Any mixture of those guys would probably be perfect.
Yep.
I'm
going to tell you right now, Willie Roaf, Will Shields, and then anybody we got, Orlando Brown, Joe Thuney, anybody we got on our offensive line right now. But Willie Roaf and Will Shields, hands down. I mean, 2 beasts. So
That's nice. Really, Rolf was dominant. He says
Oof.
Page. Yeah, Page was good for you guys too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Defensive line. Give me the front four.
Ooh.
Oosh.
I'm gonna say I'll do two. JP, I'll let you do two. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Chris Jones. I'm gonna say Justin Houston before he was paid though. Those are my two. I'm just being honest, man. The production dropped
We talked
tremendously.
about
It was
that.
terrible.
We talked
It
about
wasn't
that.
good. It wasn't good.
Oh man, that's tough for me, man. I mean, you just actually took both of mine, really. I mean, I just kind of got to mirror who you just said.
You're forgetting one.
Who?
DT.
Oh well, okay.
You gotta
Look,
have DT on that line.
He let you down.
he was my best friend, man. I thought we were going to go a different direction. Look, that's a different story. Look, let's get into this. Derek Thomas was my best friend until the day he passed away. Okay, so DT was the absolute best. And then I will say Neil Smith. Okay, I'm going to bring him in because Neil and him were like the dynamic duo. Nobody besides those two guys. You know, Derek held the most sacks in a game, still holds that record. And I don't know, man. You can't beat those two guys. So,
all right, give me 3 linebackers.
Oh man, DJ. I would say Derek Johnson's.
Yeah, definitely DJ.
Oh yeah, Derek Johnson.
Derek Johnson. He was really good.
Super beast.
Other one. There really isn't another one from my perspective I can think of. What do you think, JP? Who are your other two?
God, I mean, that's tough, man. I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean, Derek Johnson for sure.
We never really had a lot of great linebackers. That's the thing, I feel like.
We didn't. That's the problem. We didn't have like
recent ones you want to throw in there. You know,
I mean, we
3-4 edge rushing.
But this is his first year.
Who?
Tell me
Who'd you say?
Receiver. You can put Bolton there.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah, I mean, we could put Bolton in there because we really didn't have anybody. I mean, yeah, Nick Bolton, and then who else? Who else we got?
I guess you could put Willie Gay. I mean, he has pretty good the times he's been out there. But Chiefs really haven't had a dominant linebacker.
No, we haven't, man. Honestly, we haven't had a dominant group of, I mean, unless you go back years and years.
How strong are your corners? How about this? How strong are your corners? Can you say 4 corners?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, if you can go 4 corners, we'll go with the 2 linebackers and Bolton and who'd you say again?
Derek Johnson.
Johnson, yes. Yeah. Johnson was a beast. And so give me 4 corners, 2 apiece.
Ooh, that's gonna be a tough one.
I know the one he's gonna say, but yeah, I knew that was coming out of his mouth.
Marcus Peters. I don't care what anyone says. He was a beast with the Chiefs. They should have never traded him away. All that whole sorrow. I'm not gonna get into that. Marcus Peters, obviously, in my second cornerback, I would say, ooh, this is gonna be a tough one, but I would say legit. No, there's this really. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Albert Lewis. Yes, that's the guy, Albert Lewis. That's the guy.
Yeah.
Whoever
that dude is, just stole my damn
fan.
Yeah, Chiefs fan right there. So Albert Lewis was a beast, bro. Albert Lewis is one beast. I mean, he was, and that actually was one I was going to pick. So Albert Lewis definitely was one of my favorites. I'm going to tell you right now. And I'm going to go with them and everybody's going to say I'm crazy, and I still love him. I like Ward, man. I mean, I do. I like Ward. People can say what they want about him, but I do like Ward. Yeah.
That's fine. That's why it's your team. Who cares what people think? Just shoot them out.
A lot of people just
might not be that good of a player. Like I had people, have Rasheed Douglas on their cornerback list because that's what they like to see play, and I'm like, well, not great,
Trevarius Ward has a great backstory, but yet he's still just he's a dominant player because he doesn't let anybody buy him 99% of the time. Yeah. So it's just one of my favorites. So.
And you get that? What was that? 3 or you get that one more?
Oh, we need 3. That's right. I got to go with Snead.
Yeah.
He played some good ball for you guys.
Yeah.
I like that one. So give me 3 safeties.
Oh, this is easy.
This is
easy
Yeah.
right here.
for
You
you
got
guys.
Honey Badger. You
Yeah.
got
Badger.
Eric Berry.
Fair.
And you got, I would also even throw in, there's another guy back in the day. I can't remember his name. JP, you know what I'm talking about?
That guy? Cherry?
Oh, Deron Cherry. Yeah, Deron Cherry was a beast. I mean, God, he was an animal. Yeah, I would have to say, I would go with those 3. Deron Cherry was an animal, man. I mean, absolute animal. But my number one, honestly, we can't get any better than the Honey Badger. I mean, the dude just, again,
They ain't better than Barry?
That's a tough one.
I would say I'd say they were really on the same level. Yeah. Barry was a little more, or Cherry was a little bit more. You talking about Eric Berry?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man. That's tough. Eric Berry put himself out there, bro. He didn't care.
Yeah.
Eric Berry just did. The only did. I don't know, man. Awesome. That's tough. Barry, shoot. No. Oh.
He can be, though. He got time to do it.
Yeah, he's got time. I mean, interception-wise, I don't know anybody that's got more interceptions than him in 2 years. Nobody does, I don't think. But
right.
But Barry, man. Oof.
What about you guys' kicker? Who's your all-time favorite Chiefs kicker?
Butter. He's been the most consistent one we've had.
Yeah, him and Nick Lowry. I mean, Nick Lowry was really a really consistent kicker. He was with us a long time, and he was really consistent. With Bucker, man, damn, dudes. I mean, we saw the dude hit 2 58-yarders and a 51-yarder when they tried to stump him, and it was all in a row.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's pretty consistent. So.
Punter.
Colquitt.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah, Colquitt.
The most consistent he was there from when they were terrible to when they won Super Bowl. He was the only consistent guy. They'd be losing games, but he would boom the ball so many yards down the field. It was ridiculous.
He said Stoyanovich. You know what? He's right. Stoyanovich was good, but Colquitt was better. I mean, he just was. He was more consistent.
Who's gonna be?
I like what he said, though. He's ain't lying.
Yeah. Who would be the defensive coordinator of this team?
I would go with Spags now.
I gotta go with Spags because
let's get a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and honestly, Spags is the only defensive coordinator we've ever had that's got 4 Super Bowls under his belt. I mean, yeah, he didn't win all 4, but he's been to 4 Super Bowls. I mean, honestly, it is what it is. Even though we had a dominant with Derek Thomas in that day, we had a great defensive coordinator, but a lot of that was Marty. Yeah. So.
And then what your head coach is like this, your head coach is the play caller, you just need a head coach. But if you got a good offense coordinator that's not the head coach, then you give me both of the positions.
I would say Andy Reid's the head coach. No. Well, yeah, Andy Reid's the head coach. EB should be the offensive coordinator. He is taking this offense to next levels. And it's just awesome to see what they're able to do week in and week out. He should have got the Eagles' job, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He would have helped Hurts become dominant.
Now, that question you just asked, you said head coach and then offensive coordinator. It doesn't matter if he was a head coach or offensive coordinator. Word that again to me.
Yeah, basically, say if you wanted to say Andy Reid, because Andy Reid played. Well, I guess like you said, Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator for Andy Reid. So, but if you wanted to be Andy Reid, your offensive coordinator and your head coach, you could have just named one person. Hey,
I see what you're saying.
Andy Reid for both. You know what I'm saying? The offensive coordinator and
yeah.
Or you can give me a name like he did. He said Andy Reid and Bieniemy be the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Either way,
I have to agree with Caleb. I mean, honestly, there's really, the only other one that I could come to mind would be Marty Schottenheimer, but Marty didn't. I love Marty. I mean, he was a great guy all the way around, and I knew him personally, and he was a great guy.
Was that before?
Before what?
Pittsburgh?
What's that, Bill Cowher?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was actually with us
before
he was with Pittsburgh. So
this guy is just knowledgeable, boy. He got all the old-time people out there.
Yeah, this dude must be old. He must be my age or something. Or he's on Google typing the shit out of stuff. But yeah, no, he was right. Yeah, no, he's right.
Up for you. What up,
Yeah,
Vic?
yeah. What's up, man?
Back. Let's see. What's 3 all-time Chiefs? Yeah, Okoye was a beast.
He was, man. I talked to that dude. Don't we, Caleb? We talked to Christian. He's a cool guy, man. Still a cool guy. So he was a beast, man.
And well, man, that seemed like a good team there, man. That'd be a great team to put up on anybody's all-time list. We did forget the score prediction for both teams. So, what do you guys think is going to happen? Give me your final thoughts, each of you guys, one at a time. Your final thoughts and score prediction for this Sunday's game.
Go ahead, JP.
We picked it on the first show. What did I say? 33-17. Yeah, 33-17. Kansas City.
Mine is, I'm going to say 33. I'm going to say 31-23 Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to be able to continue to win. Andy Reid's going to get that 200th win, and Kelsey
No.
going to catch a touchdown.
No.
Yep, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
No. It's time for Andy to catch that L. You got to do it this year.
Hey, he lost those 2 games on purpose, he said, on the presser.
Yeah.
It's time for him to take that L, Andy. Next week, we'll all celebrate together. Chiefs fans and Eagles fans will clap for you. You know, give you the respect and the respect in the celebration that you really need. You don't want half your fans to be mad and the other half of your fans to be happy. You want both sides sitting there, standing ovation for Big Red.
Yeah.
So next week when it happens, we'll all be there for you. Andy Reid, go get it, my guy. But like I said, I'm a Bird fan, and I'm thinking we're going to, ruin that little thing for you. So 17-10 Eagles in a very good game coming down to the end of the game. That's my prediction. I don't see no blowouts. Don't see nothing like that. We just kind of pull away at the end. Or maybe not even pull away 17-10. That's like a last minute, one touchdown more, to win this game. That we both need it, though. We both need it, and hopefully our team can be the first to get off the snide.
Let me answer Vic real quick.
Yeah, he said Allen.
He's got Marcus Allen out there. I know Larry Johnson, too. Now, look, with Marcus Allen, he was a great running back when he was with the Raiders. When he came to us, he was a third down back. He was more of a third down, red zone style back. Don't get me wrong, he was a great running back, but he wasn't one of the best Kansas City ever had. He was very good, but he wasn't one of the best Kansas City ever had. He was mainly a third down, red zone style back. As far as Larry Johnson's concerned, I've known that man since the day he stepped on the field in Kansas City. I'm not going to say nothing negative about the guy. He was very good when he was with Kansas City. He still holds the record for most yards in a season. But if I had to pick between him and Priest Holmes, I would take Priest Holmes.
Ooh.
So there's not any rhyme or reason behind that. I will just say that Priest Holmes was a more consistent running back, and as far as Marcus was concerned,
got a fan there, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, that's all it is.
And what is your take on those two guys? What about you?
What I would take at the end of the day, I would take Priest Holmes, honestly, as my running back one, because the way he plays, he can play running back out of the backfield. He can do different things. He's just more of a better all-around running back.
You know what is funny about the funny thing about all of this? I gotta say it, man. We have made the Ravens look stupid twice now. I gotta say it. They didn't utilize Priest Holmes. Okay.
No, they didn't.
We took him. Priest Holmes just became a star.
Yeah.
And then what we do? He gave up absolutely nothing. Zero, zip, nada. And got Orlando Brown from them and made him look even more dumb. And then they got their weak juice. How stupid was that, man?
Yeah, how did you guys get Brown for nothing like that?
That was a crazy thing.
That's because we got a damn good GM.
Yes,
but then, they got their week 2 Super Bowl out of the way. They beat us barely by a couple, was that a point or something? 2 points?
It was about 1 point, yep.
Yeah, but so it is what it is. But That's okay.
Still
The
had
Raiders
to-
got their Week 5 Super Bowl last year, and they didn't get nowhere. So
How
it
do you
is
guys
what it
like
is.
Joe Montana when he's on your team?
I really like Joe. I really like Joe on the team. I mean, I was at the game in Buffalo when he got knocked out of the game, and honestly, man, to be honest with you, I cried like a 2-year-old baby because we'd have won that game, bro. I mean, we were there. We were AFC Championship game. We were going to go to the Super Bowl, and when he got knocked out, dude, I was telling Caleb, it was like if you ever watch a balloon just deflate right in front of you. It just happened, and that was just kind of the end. But I really liked it. I mean, he was a great quarterback, and he was extremely intelligent. His arm didn't have the strength that it had in prior years, but I think he was a phenomenal quarterback, man. Intelligent, just a great quarterback. Everybody loved him, and in fact, that was one of my first times that I got to meet everybody. Well, actually, a couple years prior to that, I got to meet everybody, but it was great to meet him and just to get and interact with him. And he was a great guy.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Well, hey, man, thanks again for coming on the show. We are at the 120 mark. Shout out to the 15 still in the chat. Please hit that like and subscribe to BIRDGANG Nation Sports Talk. We are on the road to 2K. We are at 1.2K, moving on up. Hopefully we can get there by mid-season. So let's keep supporting the channel. Keep sharing my content. Keep hitting that like button so it gets out to more people. Also, go hit up these guys on the Anchor platform, right?
Yeah, Chief Focus, First and 10 show.
Yeah, Go ahead and let them know where they can find you at. Because I know the link, we put the link inside the chat so you guys will be able to go up there and do the .com. So go ahead.
Yeah, so we're on Chiefs Focus First and 10 show. You can find us anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. And if you're on Twitter, you can find us at Chiefs Focus. We're on Instagram at Chiefs Focus. And that's really about it. We actually have a webpage we're starting right now. We also have a YouTube channel that we're starting as well. We're just in the process of building that as well.
Yeah, make sure you guys let me know. I definitely go subscribe to it, man. I love all good content creators. It's been a blast working with you guys.
Yeah, it's been fun, man. We really appreciate it, bro.
I'm trying to find it real fast. There it is, right there. So this is your actual channel?
That is yes.
The website. We're still building that right now.
Correct. We're in the middle of building that now.
Follow us on Twitter, though, at Chiefs Focus, and follow JP at JP Chiefs. No, at JP Chiefs.
At JP Chiefs. Yeah, it's at JP Chiefs Focus, or the other one is at Chiefs Focus. Either one, it doesn't matter, whichever one you follow. So, or you can follow both. It don't matter.
All right. Well, hey, man, like I said, great show. Good luck to you guys. Big Red, please just hold out one more week, my guy. Just one more week. So we can all come back and celebrate together. How about that? 1 week away. We'll come back all celebrate together. We can even have a show about it, But thank you guys for coming on the show this week. It's been awesome. And like I always say at the end of my show, fly, Eagles, fly. Next time, this is a BIRDGANG Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, BIRDGANG31, and we are out. Peace.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Welcome to the BIRDGANG Nation Sports Media Show, repping the greatest team of all time. Let's go! BIRDGANG 31, he be the host with the most. We going deep, burning teams. They ain't nothing but toast. It's in your Estes. Sirianni put me in coach, running like Miles Sanders till I bumped my head on the post. Touchdown! Yeah, that's coming. Devontae's crazy route running. Jalen hurting them, throwing lasers to break a young gunning. Come on! On the D side, we ride, sack him with Fletcher, lay him out on the stretcher. No one can protect you. Watch Darius lay him, shutting down your routes. Come on. In my green John, eating Philly cheesesteaks. Put up your cups, wings up, if you can relate. Tailgating at the link like Cancer Stride. To the BIRDGANG Nation, that's worldwide. On Sundays, catch the pre and post game. Mondays is Birds on Broad Street with Philly Notion and Cool Cat, the man in motion. And Wednesdays, the midweek special got you open with JC from Eagles Talk. Hitting like B-Dog, baby.